Let's go over one positive thing for each NHL team this season so far, and let me know how you're feeling about your team so far during the season. Let's do this, baby. Much love. Leave a like and subscribe. Let's do this. The first team here, guys, is gonna be the Anaheim Ducks, and I'm gonna say that Leo Carlsson is looking like the right pick so far this season. He's had a hat trick. He's been looking good so far. His teammates are speaking highly of him, and I feel like he's been better than Fantilli so far this year. Obviously, it is very, very early in their careers, but Leo Carlsson is getting bigger. He's looking strong. And this guy is looking like a goal scorer. And this guy is definitely, so far, the right pick, second overall, in my opinion, obviously behind Bedard. But that's a good, positive thing for the Ducks. Up next is going to be the Arizona Coyotes, guys. And for them, I'm going to say they're in the race, guys. They're in the race. They're winning more games. They're looking like a good team. Obviously, my brother is on the team, so I'm actually paying attention to their games more than I usually would. And they're actually looking like a good team. Obviously, they're a laughing stock of the NHL. They play in an ASU arena. They're playing in a 5,000 seat arena. They're not a good team, but they've been playing good hockey. Ingram's been solid. Velmelka has been but the top six is looking good. Keller, Cooley, very, very good. And they're getting some depth scoring, guys. Their defense is way better. This team, obviously, I'm not saying they're winning the Stanley Cup, but they're better than they were last year, and they're going to make it a close race for the wild card. They just beat the 3 Stanley Cup champions in a row. They just beat the Tampa Bay Lightning. They beat the Knights, and they beat the Avalanche. Very, very good team so far. We'll see how they keep doing. Up next is going to be the Boston Bruins. Obviously, it's going to be hard to top their last season, but I'm going to say pasta is still being pasta. Obviously, there's a lot of speculation going around the Bruins this season since, obviously, Bergeron left. They lost Orlov. They lost Bertuzzi. They lost a lot of good players in this offseason, but they are excelling. And Pasta, 33 points in 22 games. He's absolutely popping off. He might score 60 again. This guy is leading this team to another unreal season for the Bruins. They're better than we all thought, and I think it's led from Pasta. Up next is going to be the Buffalo Sabres. There's not a lot going great for them so far, but there's one positive, and I think that's Zach Benson. I think so far he might be the steal of the draft. As so far what we've seen, he's looking unreal. Obviously, his first NHL goal is through the legs. You can't make it better than that. Obviously, it's a superstar goal. But now, he's been scoring some goals. He has 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points in 13 games. He's looking really, really good. He's one pick right before the Penguins. That would have been so, so nice for us. But it is what it is. But Sabres, obviously, is not a best start for them. But at least they have one bright spot in this young kid. And I think they will step up later on in the season. I don't think you guys have to worry, Sabre fans. But right now, you got to like what you're seeing from the rookie. And up next, guys, is gonna be the Calgary Flames. This was the hardest one for me to do since Zadorov just wanted to get traded. He did get traded. Offseason is not looking great for them. Huberdeau's still not playing good. Kadri's Markstrom's still not playing good. There's a lot of negatives going on in this Flames camp, but I feel like they're getting the players out that don't want to be there, so their locker room presence, the overall morale of the team is gonna be getting better. I think Zadorov, like, you don't want anyone in your locker room that does not want to be there. Zadorov is gone. Maybe Hanifin's gone next. There's a lot of players that don't want to be there, so get them out of there. Just get the morale up, and I feel like they're getting in the right step with Zadorov leaving. So there's not a lot of positives going around for the Flames, but I had to think of something, and I think you got to take any positive out of a negative. The morale might be getting better. Up next is going to be the Carolina Hurricanes, guys. And yes, they haven't been playing the best hockey, but the defense is still elite. Top 3 in the NHL, in my opinion. Obviously, they're led by Jacob Slavin, unreal D-man. Orlov is fitting in just right. Burns is playing good. Shea's playing all right. Pesci, D'Angelo. This team is unreal defensively. Obviously, the goaltender-wise have not been playing great, but when you have this top-tier defense in the NHL, you know you can win some games. And that's exactly what's going to happen when they get that top-tier goaltending, when they get their goaltending back, and their forwards playing better. They're going to win even more games. They're still, second in the Metropolitan with their goalie struggling. So it is what it is. Hurricanes, they're going to be good, man. They're obviously going to be really, really good. They're going to win a couple playoff series. They're obviously a wagon still. Up next is going to be the Chicago Blackhawks. And this one is pretty obvious, guys. Bedard is him, bro. Bedard is him. Obviously, there's a lot of madness going around. I don't really want to talk about that organization, what's going on there with Bedard and stuff like that. Obviously, there's rumors going around. It's false, obviously, stupid rumor, but it is what it is. The Perry situation is over. Let's stop talking about that. We know how good Bedard is, and he's been showing that this year. Is he up to the caliber of Crosby and McDavid so far? No, but obviously it's different. The team is way worse than obviously we thought. Taylor Hall is hurt, so there's a lot of issues going on with the Blackhawks. They're not a good team. That just gets them another top pick for Bedard to play with, and that is actually very, very scary. So Bedard, He's him, bro. He is him. Up next is going to be the Colorado Avalanche. And for them, I'm going to say they have multiple league MVP candidates. Cale Makar, Nathan McKinnon are playing unreal. It's crazy how Makar's playing this good. And he's honestly not even in the lead for the Norris Trophy. Honestly, that is crazy. But that's just how it is. I don't want to talk about who is right now. But him and McKinnon are playing an MVP level right now. So we'll see if they can keep that up and bring them back to playoffs. Obviously, hopefully Landeskog can come back during the playoffs. But if not, this team is still a really, really good team and definitely a contender. Up next here, guys, is going to be the Blue Jackets. Obviously, it's not a lot going right for them. But but for them, I'm going to say that Fantilli is settling in, and that is a huge positive for them. They needed that. Obviously, they got him 3rd overall. They let him fall. He wanted to be there, and he's definitely playing better hockey as of late. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, this team is not the greatest built, so we'll see if they can get a better pick in the draft next year. But once again, it's all eyes are on Fantilli, and I think he's settled in quite well. Up next is going to be the Dallas Stars, guys, and I think a big positive for them is that they're getting more scoring depth. Duchesne, huge acquisition for the Stars. He's putting up a lot of points for them. I think he has 17 points if I do remember correctly, but he's fitting in just well. The team is getting more depth. Robertson doesn't have to put up 90 goals just to carry this team like he did have to last season, but now they have more depth scoring, which is awesome. And Onger is playing quite well as well. Up next is going to be the Detroit Red Wings. They won the Kane sweepstakes. Obviously, would you call it a sweepstakes? I don't know if there's that many teams really going for him since he is, 95 years old. But he's still a really good offensive player. Defensively, he's not going to be the greatest. Obviously, we all know that. But the Red Wings, they need scoring with Larkin, with DeBrincat, and they're going to get that with Patty Kane. Hey, can Kane and DeBrincat recreate what they did back in Chicago? Who knows? Obviously, it did not work that well with the Rangers, but we'll see if the Red Wings can do that. Obviously, they need to still lock in defensively. That's a big problem for the Red Wings. Up next is going to be the Edmonton Oilers. A lot of negativity going around their team in the beginning of the season. Obviously, it's not the start they wanted, not the start they thought was going to happen. But the positive for the Oilers is that McDavid and Draisaitl have not asked for a trade yet. Honestly, it was an abysmal start to the season. Obviously, goaltending, Campbell getting sent down, Stuart Sinner having a horrible season so far. Obviously, a lot of things can be turned around. I still think they'll make playoffs, guys, but they need to make McDavid and Draisaitl happy. If you're the GM, you got to make whatever it takes to get a better goaltender, and that's not happening. But as long as McDavid and Draisaitl want to stay and don't want to leave because their contracts are coming up soon, if you guys lose, I'm not going to get into that, but you guys got to keep them happy. And as so far, they haven't asked for a trade, so I guess that's a positive. Up next is going to be the Florida Panthers, guys, and a big positive for them and a huge question mark going in the offseason was, can Bobrovsky recreate what he did in the playoffs? And the answer is yes, man. He's playing pretty damn good hockey for this team right now. Going through all those injuries early at the start of the season with the D-man, with Ekblad, they started hot, man. They started hot, and they're continuing that. We love that for the Panthers. That was a huge question mark. That was my biggest question mark for them was, can Bobrovsky stay hot? And he is definitely doing that. And they're second in the Atlantic Division. So that is a big W for the Panthers. Let's see if they can continue to do that. Up next is going to be the LA Kings, guys. And one big question mark for me going into the season for them was, can Cam Talbot and just their goaltenders in general be good for them? And honestly, Cam Talbot has been unreal. He has an unreal save percentage. Let me look at his save percentage real quick. Currently, with 15 games played, he has 202 goals against average and a 928 save percentage. That is unreal. One of the best in the league so far. And if he can continue that, Kings are going to be a wagon and definitely, probably, I think they can win a playoff series if he can continue to do that, because that was one big issue, because Talbot last year with the Ottawa Senators was not a good goaltender. But obviously now he's a better defense in front of him, and he's showing that good hockey. He's showing what he could do like he did it back in Minnesota a couple years ago. We'll see if he continues this. That'd be huge for the Kings. Up next is going to be the Minnesota Wild. And obviously a really bad start. But it's been looking so much better since they've fired their coach. They got a spark under them. Since Dean Evason is now gone, they've been playing a much better brand of hockey, winning games like we know they can. Obviously, the depth up front is not the best. And honestly, the goaltending has been pretty bad. But all we needed was a spark with the firing coach. Obviously, no team loves firing a coach, but now they actually fired a spark under them, and now they're playing good hockey. So maybe they can continue that and get back into the playoffs. Up next is going to be the Montreal Canadiens. There's not a lot of positives with this team, guys, obviously, but I think one positive is you're going to be getting a high pick again next season. And that is always a big W for a rebuilding team. there's not much more to talk about. Up next is going to be the Nashville Predators, guys. And I think a big positive for them is that the new signings are playing good. Nyquist is playing solid, and so is Ryan O'Reilly, fitting in just like they've been there for a couple years. They've been playing unreal. This team is looking solid. I think Juicy Saros needs to be playing better. Defensively, it's been all right, but I think those guys, I think Ryan O'Reilly has been locking in up front. He's a really, really good center for them, and he's been playing good brand of hockey for them. Same thing with Nyquist, putting up the points, exactly what Nashville needed. Up next is going to be the New Jersey Devils. Not the greatest start that they wanted, but with a lot of injuries, I think a big positive for them that Hughes squared is taking another step. If you guys do not get that, Hughes squared, Hughes times 2, Luke Hughes, Jack Hughes, sorry, but they were playing unreal. Jack Hughes, man, is unreal. Obviously, he did get hurt in the beginning of the season, but he's still unreal. He's almost 30 points in like 16 games. He is absolutely a superstar in this NHL, and obviously Luke Hughes is playing unreal as well, playing good. Obviously, he did get blown up a couple times with a couple 30 hits, but it is what it is. You're gonna get targeted when you're one of the best players on the ice, and that is definitely Luke Hughes and Jack Hughes. Loose squared. Quinn Hughes, are you going to the Devils? Who knows? Up next, guys, is going to be the New York Islanders. This team is very mediocre, very hit or miss. We don't know what kind of team we're going to get. I was beginning of the season, I was like, yep, Sorokin. He hasn't been the best that we knew he can so far. But the one big positive, I think Barzal is taking over this team, guys. He's taking over the points. It's usually Brock Nelson leading the team in points, but we needed Brock Nelson. We needed a Barzal or Horvat to do that, and Barzal is taking that reign, guys, and that is definitely what they needed. More goals would be nice, but it is what it is. He's taking over this team. Up next, guys, is going to be the New York Rangers. They took the next step, guys. That is super, super scary. That is a big positive for them. Last year, we felt like they were young. I mean, they're not really that super young, but like we felt like they weren't there yet, but they took the next step. They're tied for the lead in the NHL, I think, with the Bruins, but these guys are a wagon, guys. They're winning games against really, really good teams, and they're winning them pretty convincingly as well. Obviously, they're doing this without their best D-man in Adam Fox as well, which is crazy. Sturkin is doing his thing. Panarin is playing unreal. Even Lafreniere is playing really, really good. So that is really good for the Rangers. Obviously, I don't like it as a Penguins fan, but you gotta tip your hat to a really, really good team. Up next, guys, is gonna be the Ottawa Senators, and there's not a lot of positives going on there. Obviously, they have a lot of games in hand, but that's my positive, guys. They still have time. Obviously, they're losing games, and they have a really stacked team on paper, and it's just not working out for them. I don't know why. The chemistry is not there. Stutzla's doing a thing, but other than that, guys, I feel this team is not stepping up. Korpisalo has not been solid, but there's still time. That is a huge positive for this team. If they can win these games that they have in hand, they can be right there back in playoffs. Up next is gonna be the Philadelphia Flyers, guys, and wow, are they surprising us, guys. They bought in to the Torts style, and it is working out perfectly for them. He's like the perfect team. He's like the perfect coach to coach this team, because he coaches their style of like what brand the Flyers are known for, just playing brute force hockey, and it is working out. They're scoring, and Carter Hart is playing solid as well. Defensively, they just bought in general, and this team is just playing a good brand of hockey for them, and boy, oh boy, is it working. Will it continue? Who knows, but who cares right now? Flyer fans, they're better than they were last year, and right now they're not in the playoffs, I think, but they're in the chase right now. See if they can continue that, because they're looking pretty damn good. Up next is gonna be the Pittsburgh Penguins, guys. There's a lot of question marks going on this team, with the biggest trade in the offseason, Erik Karlsson, and that is a huge positive, because I think he's playing pretty damn good for us. He's putting the points up. Defensively, I thought he's gonna be worse than he was, honestly. I think he's playing pretty damn good. Obviously, we're not the best defensive team in the NHL. We're not the Hurricanes, but we're playing better brand of hockey, and I think Karlsson is definitely doing that. I think Karlsson and the Tank are having a good season so far. Tristan Jarry's playing solid, obviously scoring Genos. Hopefully he can get 60 this year, but Crosby's playing unreal, like he's back at 21 years old. But we know, I think Erik Karlsson is stepping up big time for this team, and hopefully he can continue that. Up next is going to be the San Jose Sharks. Obviously one of the worst teams in hockey, the worst team in hockey, but now they're no longer getting embarrassed. Obviously they had 2 games in a row. Canucks put up 10, then the Penguins put up 10 on them, but now they just beat a really good New Jersey Devils team at home. They beat a really good Devils team on the road. It's absolutely crazy. They're playing good hockey. Okay, I wouldn't say good hockey, but they're playing hockey and not getting embarrassed, guys. They just had 50 shots against them. They won 6-3. Absolutely crazy, but they're not getting embarrassed is what the Sharks fans want. Up next is going to be the St. Louis Blues. I really couldn't think too much for the Blues here, but I'm going to say Binnington is playing better, and he's staying out of all the shenanigans that we know and love and hate for Binnington. He's not getting crazy. He's winning games. He's getting back to his almost Stanley Cup self with the save percentage and goals against average. He's getting back to that. Defense is playing good in front of him. Obviously, the Blues aren't the best team right now, but they're obviously in a weaker division, so they can definitely make playoffs. But Binnington is definitely the huge key for that. Up next is gonna have to be the Tampa Bay Lightning, guys, and I'm saying Kucherov MVP candidate again. Is he gonna win MVP again? Is he gonna be putting up 130 points again? He's unreal right now. Obviously, they're on a bit of a losing streak, but it is what it is. It's gonna happen with this team. But Vasilevsky's back. If Kucherov popping off, this power play popping off, this team is so unreal. Obviously, with superstar after superstar, Kucherov is leading that pack right now. He needs to continue to do that. Up next is gonna be the Toronto Maple Leafs. Obviously, the big question mark on the season was, is their defense going to hold up? Is Samsonov going to play solid as well? And I say yes, but the big positive so far is Matthews is getting back his scoring touch. 60 goals is on the horizon again for Matthews. He's playing unreal, hat trick after hat trick after hat trick. This kid is unreal. Obviously, we all know and love that. Hopefully, he can continue that. Obviously, their stars are playing stars. But how are you going to pay Nylander? I don't know. Up next is going to be the Vancouver Canucks, guys. One of the biggest wagons in the NFL. In the NHL right now, this team is unreal. The real positive here is the Rick Tocchet effect is now in here, baby. We wanted this. We love this. Obviously, we needed a big offseason. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm not a Canucks fan, but as an NHL fan, we wanted the Canucks to be good. I like the Canucks. They're fun to watch. And the Tocchet effect, I love Tocchet as a Penguins fan. Obviously, he was a big coach for us during the Cup run. But he needed an offseason to really make these guys buy in, and they definitely have done that. They're making trades. Their defense are unreal. They just got Zadorov. It's a pretty damn good D-man as well. This team is going to be solid. They're going to be a wagon. I like how they're looking. Up next is going to be the Stanley Cup champions, the Vegas Golden Knights. And the big positive for them is Adin Hill has no Stanley Cup hangover. I was wrong. I thought Adin Hill was going to have a huge drop off because we've seen it before. We've seen it with Matt Murray, but obviously Matt Murray won 2 Stanley Cups before he dropped off. Binnington, he's won 1 Stanley Cup, then he kind of dropped off. I thought Adin Hill was going to do that since he was a backup, career backup, flipping teams. I didn't think he had it in him, but he's playing unreal this season. Knights are obviously having a little down, like a little slump right now, but they started off hot, so that's good. They're allowed to have a slump. So Adin Hill, he's playing unreal. I got to tip my hat to him. Up next is going to be the Washington Capitals, guys. And a huge positive for them, honestly, a big positive is they're winning games with Ovi not scoring goals. He's only has 4 goals this year. Obviously, that is not Ovi. Like you could tell he's a little different than we thought. Than what we saw last season. He's not who he was before. But you're winning games without him scoring. Once he starts scoring, it's Ovi. He's gonna start scoring. Just put him in the power play. Put him in that spot. Maybe not on the power play anymore. That's what you need to do. Just put him in the slot, one timer. But Ovi, he's gonna start scoring. We know he will. He's gonna get that record. So you guys, once he starts doing that, you guys are gonna win even more games. It's even better for you guys. Up next, and the last one of the video, guys, is gonna be the Winnipeg Jets. And it's a very tough one here. There's a lot of positives and maybe negatives on this team, but I'm gonna say big positive here is Connor Hellebuck is being Connor Hellebuck. We know how good he is. We know how good he is, and he's playing to that caliber. He could be even better. He plays 70 games a year, and he's going to do that this year most likely, and he's going to stay. He's probably going to bring this team to a playoff spot like he always does. But Connor Hellebuck is Connor Hellebuck. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. Obviously, sorry it was a longer video, but let me know down below if you guys agree with me about your team. What do you like about your team? What do you not like about your team? Any hot takes for this season? Any video ideas for me to do in the future? Let me know down below, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Much love. Be great. I'll see you guys later.